When the goal was scored, everyone celebrated. But Rachel Torres witnessed a man being murdered. Now, the killers are hunting her and there's no way out of the stadium. Goal! 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 Lambeau Field's 80,000-seat stadium erupted into madness. Green Bay Packers had beaten Chicago Bears 2-1. 83rd minute. Everyone leaped to their feet, hugging, screaming, jumping into the air. The stadium floor was shaking, sound waves deafening ears. NFL's fastest wide receiver Rachel Torres also stood up. But her eyes weren't on the football. They were fixed on the VIP section. At 28 years old, her long blonde hair flowing in the wind, she stood frozen watching that scene. She wasn't playing this week due to a left knee injury, but didn't want to miss this critical home game for Green Bay. "Rachel, what's wrong with you?" "We scored," shouted the young man next to her. Jake Morrison, a 19-year-old college student who had waited hours before the game to get Rachel's autograph. But Rachel couldn't hear him, because her eyes were frozen on the VIP section. Vincent Morrison, a 50-year-old, gray-haired, three-piece Italian suit-wearing millionaire businessman, CEO of Morrison Industries, a man whose name appeared on Forbes lists with an annual income of $500 million. During the goal celebration, his bodyguard had embraced him in congratulation. It looked completely normal, like old friends joyfully hugging. But Rachel saw it. That thin silver knife. It had entered the left side of Morrison's neck at earlobe level, severed the main artery, and now blood was spreading inside his suit. The knife was so thin and professionally placed that Morrison remained standing, appearing as if he were still alive. "Oh God! Oh my God!" Rachel screamed, covering her mouth with her hands. Jake turned. "Rachel, what happened? Why are you screaming? We scored. Shouldn't you be happy?" That man." Rachel's finger trembled as she pointed to the VIP section, her voice shaking, breath catching, heart pounding wildly. Morrison had leaned forward, as if bowing his head in joy, hands resting on his knees. Most people would think he was just tired or overwhelmed by the goal excitement. But Rachel knew the man was dying, and blood continued pooling inside his suit. "Which man? What are you talking about?" Jake looked around, confused. "In the VIP, that gray-haired man. Someone stabbed him, didn't you see?" Jake laughed, but with an understanding chuckle. "Rachel, you got too excited. You freaked out from the goal celebration, stress from coming to the game while injured and all. It's normal." "No, this is real. I saw it. That man was murdered." "Rachel, calm down. Take a deep breath. Everyone in the VIP looks fine. Look, they're all celebrating." But Rachel's eyes wouldn't leave the VIP section. The bodyguard, approximately 35 years old, athletic build, short brown hair, skillfully withdrew the knife, wiped it with a handkerchief, and put it in his jacket pocket. Then, as if nothing had happened, he continued applauding while patting Morrison's back. The woman next to Morrison, probably his wife, hadn't realized the situation yet. She was also experiencing the goal joy, unaware that her husband was dead. And then it happened. The moment that would forever change Rachel's life. One of the security guards in the VIP section, at least 6 feet 3 inches tall, black coat, glasses, bald head, noticed Rachel's stare. As if drawn by a magnet, his eyes met Rachel's. In that moment, Rachel saw deadly coldness in the man's eyes. The man slowly brought his finger to his throat and drew a line. The message was crystal clear. "You're going to die too." Rachel's heart felt like it would stop. Her breath caught, knees trembled. Among 80,000 people, she felt naked and defenseless. "Jake," she said, trembling, "we need to get out of here." "What? Why?" "The game just ended. There's going to be a celebration. Players will come onto the field." "No, we need to leave now." Jake saw the panic in Rachel's face. "Rachel, is something really wrong? Are you sick?" Rachel looked back at the VIP. The man with glasses was still watching her, and now he was talking to someone on his walkie-talkie. She tried to lip read. "Target identified, blonde woman, NFL player." "Damn it," Rachel shouted. Throughout her NFL career, Rachel had experienced many critical moments. Last-second touchdowns, playoff games, Super Bowls watched by millions. But none had been this vital. This time, it wasn't the field she needed to run on. It was her life. "I'm going to the bathroom," she yelled to Jake, trying to hide the panic in her voice. Bathroom. Now. The game just ended. Players are coming onto the field. Aren't you going out too? Your teammates will want to take photos with you. I really need to go. I can't wait. Rachel, I'm serious. Is something wrong? You're acting really strange. Rachel gripped Jake's arm. Jake, listen to me. Be very careful, okay? If anyone asks about me, say you don't know where I went. What? Why would anyone ask about you? Just say it. Okay? Jake nodded, confused. Okay, Rachel. Okay. But you? Rachel was already gone, but she didn't go to the bathroom. She went down to the stadium's lower levels, into dark corridors, secret passages used by maintenance staff. Being an NFL player, she knew stadium layouts well. Every stadium had hidden corridors, staff rooms, emergency exits. Footsteps echoed off metal, creating echoes. Her breath was catching, heart beating wildly. The corridors were cold, smelling of dampness, yellow emergency lights creating paranoid shadows. Stay calm, Rachel, she talked to herself. You're an NFL player. Your reflexes are fast. You run the 40-yard dash in 4.3 seconds. You bench press 200 pounds. You're strong. You're fast. You can get through this. But where she was strong was the football field. There were rules there, referees, security. This was different. This was the Wild West. And she was now on the hunted side. She entered a staff room. Maintenance, authorized personnel only, was written on the door. Inside were cleaning supplies, detergents, mops, uniform hangers, and a large mirror in the corner. She locked the door behind her and collapsed onto a metal chair. She looked at her phone, 47% battery, 11:26 p.m. The game had just ended, and the stadium was still full, but people would slowly start leaving. She looked in the mirror. Blonde hair disheveled, green eyes wide with fear, face white as a sheet, lips trembling. 6 hours ago, she was a normal NFL player. America's sweetheart, idol to millions, successful, rich, powerful. Now she was a woman hiding in a basement, terrified of death. Is this real? She whispered to the mirror. Is this really happening to me? Her phone rang. Unknown number, a Chicago number starting with +1-312. She held it, staring. Should I answer or not? Maybe it's someone unimportant, maybe a wrong number. She answered on the third ring. Hello. Hello, Rachel Torres. Cold male voice. No acceleration, no emotion, like a robot. Her heart stopped. Who is this? Where did you get my number? You know, Rachel, we want you to forget what you saw up there. I didn't see anything. I swear. I was just watching the game. You saw it, Rachel. You saw Vincent Morrison's murder, and now we're coming to find you. I just came to watch the game. I'm an NFL player. I don't harm anyone. Being an NFL player won't protect you, Rachel. Actually, it makes it more dangerous, because you're a public figure. In media, on TV, in newspapers, you have a big mouth. No, I'll stay quiet. I swear, I won't tell anyone anything. We know you won't tell anyone, Rachel, because soon you'll be dead. Please. He hung up. Rachel stared at the phone, hands trembling. How did they know her number? How did they know her name? That she was an NFL player? Of course they knew. She was Rachel Torres, Green Bay Packers star wide receiver. Every week on TV, every day on social media, everywhere. Everyone knew her. And if they were professional killers, of course they had done their research. She opened Google on her trembling phone. Vincent Morrison News. No news had come out yet. Too early. But it would come out within half an hour. Business mogul Vincent Morrison found dead at Lambeau Field. And then everyone would know. Sounds started coming from above. Normal sounds. People talking, footsteps, doors closing. The game was over, spectators were leaving. But for Rachel, these sounds meant danger. Because as the stadium emptied, finding her would become easier. Heavy, regular, purposeful sounds began echoing in the corridors. These weren't normal spectator footsteps. These were professional. Should be here. We checked all exits. She didn't leave. Then she's still here. NFL player. Could be fast. Let's be careful. Can't be too fast. She's injured anyway. Left knee injury. Rachel held her breath. They even knew about her injury. So they really had done their research. Learned every detail about her. Who killed Vincent? Marcus Delano, one of our best men, but now his identity is at risk. Let's find Rachel Torres and silence her then. What did the boss say? Clean, fast, quiet. Should look like an accident. They turned the door handle. It was locked. This room is locked. Maintenance room. Is there a key? Have to ask the janitor. Where's the janitor? Don't know. But we need to check this room. We'll make too much noise. Security will come. Security is with us, but media shouldn't come. Okay, let's continue. But we'll check this corridor again. The footsteps moved away. Rachel breathed easier, but only temporarily. They would come back. And next time, they might break down the door. She waited there for hours, put her phone on silent mode, tried to conserve battery. The stadium was slowly emptying. Sounds were decreasing. Normal footsteps from upper floors, conversations, door sounds, normal people going home normally. A normalcy Rachel would never be able to have. At 1:15 a.m., she heard different footsteps. This time it was different. One person, slow, careful steps, and it sounded familiar. Rachel, Rachel, are you here? It was Jake's voice, that young college kid. Rachel stood up, approached the door. Is that you, Jake? Rachel. Thank God, what are you doing here? I've been looking for you. Jake, get away from here. It's dangerous. What danger? Rachel, everyone's gone. Only security is left, and they're looking for you too. Security is looking for me? Yes. They said you went missing. They were worried. Rachel froze. If security was looking for her, that meant they were involved too. Jake, listen to me. You need to leave. Leave right now. Why? What happened to you? I can't explain, but go. And don't tell anyone I'm here. Rachel, are you really sick? Should we call a doctor? No! No doctor, no ambulance, no one. Just go. Jake fell silent, then whispered, Rachel, that man in the VIP really died. Rachel's heart stopped. What? Vincent Morrison. He had a heart attack. I just saw it on the news. He died at the stadium. They said heart attack? Yes, but Rachel, you know something, don't you? Rachel leaned against the door. Heart attack. The cover-up had begun. Jake, please go. For your own good, go. Okay, Rachel. But if you need help, go. Jake's footsteps faded away. Rachel was alone, but now she knew. She wasn't just fighting killers, she was fighting the entire system. At 2:30 a.m., she couldn't take it anymore. She needed to drink water, use the bathroom. It had been 5 hours since she'd left her hiding place. Her mouth was dry, bladder about to burst, stomach cramping with nausea. She quietly opened the door. The corridors were like ghosts. In the red light of emergency lamps, long shadows danced. A hum came from far away. The stadium's electrical systems, HVAC, security cameras, never-stopping mechanical sounds. She tried to make her steps as quiet as possible while walking. In NFL training, they did stealth drills, moving silently, reflex development, spatial awareness. But this was real life. There was no right to make mistakes. She found a bathroom, went inside, locked the door, looked at her reflection in the mirror and almost didn't recognize herself. Hair disheveled, dirt stain on her face, deep fears in her eyes. Was this Rachel Torres? America's sweetheart? NFL's golden girl? She leaned over the sink, washed her face with cold water. The water felt so good. She drank from her cupped hands. She had never been this thirsty. At that moment, the door opened. Hello, Rachel, she turned. That man with glasses. The man who had gestured in the VIP. 6 feet 3 inches height, stocky build, graying bald head, dark glasses, expensive suit but with a bulge underneath, a gun. I finally found you. Please, Rachel's voice was trembling. I just came to watch the game. I didn't do anything to anyone. But you saw something. I didn't see anything. I swear. That man had a heart attack. They said it on the news. The man laughed, a dry, emotionless laugh. Rachel, you're an NFL player. Your reflexes are fast. Your eye is sharp. Attention to detail is very good. Of course you saw it. I won't tell anyone, I swear. We know you won't tell, because now you're part of our team. What do you mean? The man approached, cornering Rachel. Vincent Morrison, the man we killed. He'd been stealing money from us for 3 years. Fake contracts, money laundering, tax evasion. $50 million. Tonight he paid his penalty. You killed him? Marcus Delano killed him, our best assassin. But you saw him. And now Marcus's identity is at risk. I won't do anything. I swear. I won't go to police. I won't talk to media. We know you won't. Because Rachel, now you're going to take his place. What do you mean? The man pulled out a phone from his pocket, showed it to Rachel. There's a lot of money in NFL, TV contracts, sponsorship deals, betting, fantasy leagues. You're very valuable to us. The phone screen showed Rachel's financial information. Bank accounts, investments, salary details. $12 million yearly contract. $8 million endorsement deals. $3 million yearly passive income. Total, $23 million. Impressive. Where did you find these? Rachel, you're a public figure. This information is easy to find. But what's really important is this. You can influence games. What do you mean? A dropped pass, an injury at the wrong time, an intentional fumble, small mistakes at critical moments, point spreads, betting odds, fantasy scores. There's a lot of money in this business. No, I would never cheat. NFL integrity is sacred. Or think about your family. Rachel froze. My family? The man swiped his phone. A photo appeared on the screen. Rachel's mother, Maria Torres, in front of her house in Phoenix, going out for her morning jog. Maria Torres, 55 years old, retired nurse, 2347 Desert Rose Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. Every morning at 7:30 jogging, 8:15 market, 10 o'clock yoga class. Don't touch her. Another photo. Her sister Sarah at Northwestern University Hospital in Chicago in her nurse uniform. Sarah Torres, 24 years old, final year nursing student, works part-time at Northwestern Hospital, returns to her apartment at 1847 Clark Street every night at 10:15, alone. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. They're innocent. They have nothing to do with this. The man showed a third photo, Rachel's ex-boyfriend David Chen, in Los Angeles. David Chen, 31, software engineer. You had a relationship with him for 2 years. We know you're still in contact. Expensive restaurant in Beverly Hills every Friday night. David and I broke up 2 months ago, but you still care. You called him last week. You talked for 23 minutes. Rachel was scared beyond belief. They knew every detail. Phone records, daily routines, relationships. How do you... Rachel, we're professionals. Intelligence gathering is our business, and now you're our business too. What do you want from me? Simple. Continue your NFL career. Train normally, play games, but at critical moments when we tell you, make small mistakes. What kind of mistakes? Drop a pass, miss a route, slip at the wrong time. Very simple, and no one will suspect. This is cheating. I would never. Or Maria Torres has an accident during jogging. Cars are dangerous, especially during early morning hours. No. Or Sarah Torres, while leaving her night shift, gets mugged in the parking garage. Chicago is a dangerous city, especially for young women. Rachel started crying. Please, they're innocent. They have nothing to do with this. Then work with us. Just a few games, a few plays, small mistakes. That's all. And then you'll be free. But for now, you're ours. The man pulled out a small device from his pocket. It looked like a GPS tracker. What's this? Insurance. To track you. We need to know where you are at all times. No, I won't wear this. You will. Or Maria Torres will have a very bad accident during her morning jog. Rachel looked at the device. Small, black, looked like an earpiece. Put it in your ear. Invisible. And will always be in communication. With trembling hands, she took the device, put it in her left ear. It was very small, almost unnoticeable. Perfect. Now let's test it. The man moved away, spoke into his walkie-talkie. Rachel heard a voice in her ear. Test, test. Rachel, can you hear me? Rachel nodded. Good. Now you talk too. There's a micro. I can hear you, Rachel whispered. Perfect. Now you're our agent. Okay, Rachel whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. I accept. Smart girl. Very wise decision. So what happens now? How will this work? The man explained in a professional manner. First, you'll live your normal life. Tomorrow training, Thursday practice, Sunday game. Everything normal. But in games, when we tell you through the communication device, you'll make mistakes in specific plays, drop passes, wrong routes, timing errors, subtle but effective. And if I get caught, you won't get caught. You're a professional athlete. Mistakes happen. Pressure, fatigue, bad timing, normal things. Rachel tried to think, how long will this last? Until season end, including playoffs. If you go to Super Bowl, that's included too. And then? Then we'll evaluate. Maybe we continue, maybe we don't. Depends on performance. Rachel realized this would never end. Once it started, she would never be free. I don't have any other choice, do I? No, but don't worry. You just play football. We'll handle the rest. The man dialed a number on his cell phone. Phase 1 complete. Subject secured. Begin monitoring. He hung up, turned to Rachel. Good night, Rachel. We'll see you soon. When? Tomorrow morning. We'll call before training. You'll receive your first instructions. First instructions? Thursday practice. There's timing work with quarterback Jackson Meyer. When we tell you be slow on specific routes, subtle but noticeable. Why? Don't ask questions, Rachel. Just do what we say. The man turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, one more thing. If you share this with anyone, coaches, teammates, family, friends, media, police, Maria Torres will have her last jog. I understand, Rachel whispered. Good girl. Welcome to the team. The man left. Rachel was alone in the bathroom. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. She was no longer the same. She was no longer Rachel Torres. She was now their puppet. She thought about removing the device from her ear, but couldn't, because that device guaranteed her mother's and sister's lives. She covered her face with her hands and cried silently. In the most successful season of her NFL career, in the period when she should be happiest, the biggest nightmare of her life had begun. And the worst part, it was still just the beginning. At 4:15 a.m., she left the stadium. At the security checkpoint, the guard recognized her. Rachel Torres, what are you doing here so late? The game ended hours ago. Hey, Mike, she said with a fake smile. Mike Rodriguez had been working at the stadium for 15 years, knew all the players. I celebrated with friends. Private party, lost track of time. I see. Big win tonight. Packers are very close to playoffs. Yes, exciting season. Mike looked curious. But weren't you injured this week? Minor injury. Doctor said rest this game. Next week ready. Good, good. Team needs you, especially against Minnesota next Sunday. Definitely, Rachel said, but inwardly wondered what she would be forced to do in the Minnesota game. Safe drive home, Rachel. Late night. Roads are wet. Thanks, Mike. Good night. Walking to her car in the parking lot, she felt paranoid. She paid attention to every shadow, every sound. The device in her ear was barely visible, but the psychological weight was enormous. When she got into her Tesla Model S, she had 7 missed calls on her phone. 3 from Coach Patterson, 2 from teammate Kevin Wright, 1 from agent Marcus Stone, 1 from ESPN reporter Jessica Davies. She listened to Coach's voicemail. Rachel, heard you were at the game tonight. Hope you're feeling better. Need to talk about Thursday practice. Call me back. Kevin Wright's message, Yo, Rach. Saw you on TV tonight in the stands. Looking good. Ready to come back next week? From her agent, Rachel, ESPN wants an interview about your injury recovery. Good publicity opportunity. Call me. And Jessica Davies. Hi, Rachel. Jessica Davies from ESPN. Wanted to follow up about your rehab progress. Also heard there was an incident at tonight's game. Vincent Morrison died of a heart attack. Did you know him? Call me back. Rachel's blood ran cold. The reporter was already connecting dots. Vincent Morrison's death and Rachel's presence at the game. A voice came from the device. Rachel, can you hear me? Yes, she whispered. No media attention. Don't do interview with Jessica Davies. Be sick. Unavailable. I understand. And remember, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. at the training facility. Talk normally with Coach, but don't mention tonight. Okay. Good girl. Drive safe. Driving through Chicago's empty streets, she tried to maintain the illusion of normal life. Traffic lights, late-night diners, police cars. Everything looked normal. but nothing was normal anymore. When she arrived home, her luxury condo in Lincoln Park, she saw a familiar car in the building's parking garage, Sarah's Honda Civic. Shit, she said to herself, Sarah's here. In the elevator, a whisper came from the device in her ear. Your sister's in the apartment. Careful what you say. When she entered her apartment with her key, Sarah was sleeping in the living room. TV on, news channel. On screen was Vincent Morrison's photo and the headline, Business Mogul Dies of Heart Attack at Lambeau Field. Sarah woke up. Rachel, where have you been? You weren't home at 4 o'clock. Sarah, what are you doing here? I was worried. You weren't answering your phone. Jake Morrison called, said you got lost at the stadium. Rachel panicked. You talked to Jake? Yes, he seemed very worried. Said you were acting strange, paranoid and all. A warning came from the device. Careful, Rachel. I was very tired, had injury pain, felt confused. Sarah approached, examined Rachel's face. Are you okay? You look very pale, and your eyes are red. Just tired. Long day. Rachel, this Vincent Morrison thing, what did you see at the stadium? Nothing. He just had a heart attack. Sad. Sarah looked suspicious. Jake said you were talking about murder, stabbing and all. Rachel's heart rate increased. Jake is mistaken. I was confused, pain medication and all. What medication? I thought the doctor didn't prescribe any. Sarah, please. I'm very tired. I need to sleep. Sarah, still suspicious. Rachel, if something's wrong, tell me. I'm your sister. A stern warning from the device. End conversation now. Sarah, everything's fine. Just tired. You should go home too. It's late. Sarah reluctantly agreed. Okay, but we'll talk tomorrow. I'm worried about you. Sure, tomorrow. Sarah left. Rachel was alone in her apartment. Luxury furniture, awards on walls, framed photos with celebrities, the remnants of her successful life. She went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. The device in her ear was barely visible, but every second was a reminder that she was no longer free. She took a shower. Hot water burned her skin. She tried to wash away the night's trauma, but couldn't. She lay down in bed, but sleep wouldn't come. Occasional static sounds from the device in her ear, a reminder that she was always being monitored. At 5:30 a.m., her phone alarm rang. Training day, normal routine. But nothing would ever be normal again. Rachel Torres, NFL's Golden Girl, America's sweetheart, had died that night at Lambeau Field. Who had taken her place? She didn't know yet. But she knew one thing. She was now a puppet, and the puppeteers were very dangerous people. The device in her ear whispered, Good morning, Rachel. Ready for your first day. That morning, driving to the training facility in Chicago's morning traffic, normal people were living normal lives, going to work, getting coffee, listening to the radio. But Rachel was no longer normal. She was now part of a criminal organization, and she couldn't see a way to escape. She had become a witness to the murder she saw at the stadium. Now she was forced to become an accomplice, and the story had just begun. Rachel Torres's night that never left the stadium had forever changed her life. It had transformed her from an NFL star into a puppet forcibly incorporated into a criminal organization. With the device in her ear, she now felt responsible not only for herself, but for her family's safety. And she knew this was just the beginning. Much darker days were coming.